Welcome back, Patriots, to the Bald Brad Show. It is Monday, August 26th. And Patriots, I see in the chat, we got Jason, Sharon, Michelle, Bill Gibbs. What's going on, Bill? Welcome, first timer. Well, we got a lot of Patriots that are going to be joining the chat soon, Bill. So hang around, buddy. It's good seeing you. Take America back. Thank you very much. Over at Rumble, we got Patrick. We got Secret Agent. We got everybody rolling in. Well, folks, we got a lot of news, so we're just going to jump right into it. I hope all of you had a lovely weekend. Let's kick it off here where it is the third anniversary of the deadly Afghanistan attack that killed 13 Americans. Now, Donald Trump, rightfully so, is expected to slam Kamala Harris as well as Joe Biden on this botched pullout. But we got Mark Levin here on Fox News talking a little bit about how she's complicit in this pullout.
With our friend Pete Hegseth, and it's good to have you, Pete, because tomorrow marks the third-year anniversary of one of the greatest debacles in American military history, and that is the surrender to the Taliban in Afghanistan, the unbelievable murder of 13 American soldiers and hundreds of people wounded. We have Americans held hostage there still that they never talk about. We have allies, friends, interpreters, and others who are there, which this administration has done nothing. I understand they're actually giving billions of dollars to the Taliban. Now, Kamala Harris has said that she's the last one Biden spoke to. She was proud of it. She was proud of what took place. Isn't that the problem with somebody who has no experience in foreign policy and national security and does everything based on ideology?
Yes, she has. Not only does she have no experience, but she's been learning from the guy who's been wrong, as Bob Gates said, on every major foreign policy decision for the past 40 years to include his own administration. Kamala Harris was right there when Joe Biden made this call. If she had an inkling of an understanding of how bad this would unfold, she should have and would have spoken up, but she didn't, which means she's completely complicit with abandoning our men, with the 13 who were killed while we relied on the Taliban for our security. And not just that, Mark, but the chaos that unfolded around the world after that. The invasion in Ukraine, because Vladimir Putin saw a no stop sign. Same thing in Israel with the attack from Hamas, that she's now on both sides of. She won't explain what she would do in Ukraine either. She has no worldview. She's an ideologue who barely likes, who comes from a Marxist background and is ambivalent about America's role in the world.
Look, everything he said there was absolutely spot on. And again, we're giving the Taliban $87 million a week. Not a month, not bi-monthly. No. Not every 2 weeks here. $87 million a week to people that actually have killed Americans. In some cases are getting that money. But yet, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden had our vets still sleeping on the streets, not helping their addiction problems, not helping any medical need that they may get. But don't worry, folks. So wait till we get to it, because the title of today's show is called "This Democrat Party's Policy Will Be the End of Us." So stick around. Very rarely am I going to sit there and kind of drag y'all along, but this is one you're going to want to stick around with, because it has everything to do with you, has everything to do with your retirement, has everything to do with taxes. I really do mean this. If this is implemented, it's the most insane tax I've ever heard of. And this is coming from somebody that used to be a tax accountant. We'll break it down for you in just a little bit, folks. Hang around with me. Here's Kamala Harris's response to the botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Sorry, peeps, for the your eardrums about to be blown out.
What's your response to reports of Americans?
Hold on. Slow down, everybody. I want to talk about two things. First, Afghanistan.
What's your...
Why does she always come across like she doesn't know what the F's going on, that she's drunk? All right. Hold on. Take a second. It's like, what is wrong with you? She just laughs it off. Like, first of all, if you're going to go in and talk about Afghanistan, probably not the time to be cackling, you idiot. But she'll do it. So here's a old 2021 Kamala Harris bragging about this whole thing.
It's made a really big decision. Afghanistan.
Yes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
And you feel comfortable?
I do.
And I'm going to add to that. This is a president who has an extraordinary amount of courage.
He just made a really big decision.
Democrats don't care. She's going to lead the way. She's going to fix all our issues. I keep saying it. She's going to fix the border wall. Spent 4 years telling us everything's fine. Nothing to fix. She's going to fix the economy. You ran that the economy was fine. You said that we're just in a transition phase. She's going to fix inflation. You were saying inflation was fine, that it was Republicans' fault. Nothing to see here. She's going to fix our foreign... Like, what are you going to fix if you ran things so tremendously? Why is it you have to fix everything, but everything you're going to fix is not broken? I don't understand that logic. And quite frankly, neither do Democrats. They're just a bunch of idiots that somehow just like pretzel themselves in the reasoning and logic when there's nothing there in terms of reason and logic. So I wanted to throw this at you. This is kind of a hard transition, but I want to make sure we get like up to date on some of the stuff we've covered in the past. You have Laura Trump here, who stated that of the 700 trained Republican poll watchers who applied in Detroit, only 50 were accepted. And then guess how many Democrats were accepted? So just want to be clear here. They accepted 50 trained Republicans out of the 700. Folks, they accepted 2,300 Democrats. Oh, the shadiness has already begun, and we called it. And by the way, we said it happened around August or September, and here we are.
A state like Michigan, a very important state, a state Donald Trump, of course, won in 2016. We are fighting tooth and nail to make sure Donald Trump wins in Michigan, and we believe if it's a free, fair, and transparent election, he will. I'll give you an example of the way the Democrats like to operate to try and sway an election. We had 700 trained poll workers from the Republican side apply in Wayne County to be poll workers. Do you know how many of those they actually took? 50. Guess how many Democrat poll workers they took? 2,300. So now we are filing a lawsuit in Detroit to make sure that we have parity between Republicans and Democrats. So whether you look at a state like Michigan,
everything you saw in 2020 potentially could be worse. And the reason why I say worse is because there's nothing stopping illegal immigrants from voting. Remember, they did this in terms of not enforcing the laws that are already on the books to stop illegal immigrants from voting. Dan Bongino broke the law. He admitted so because he wanted to test it out. The dude sat there, made a fake ID, and he goes, "Hey, would you take a moment and look at this?" She's like, "Oh my God, is that you?" He's like, "Yes, sir." She's like, "Okay, come on in." And he went and voted. In Florida, obviously, he voted on behalf of being Dan Bongino, but the ID looked nothing like him, supposedly. So nothing's going to stop them. We looked at California's registration together as a community here. We looked at Texas's application registration form here. You don't have to prove citizenship on any of those. And by the way, Sunset sent me the Arizona one via email, and it's the exact same thing. They're not willing to clean up their voter registration rolls. You're going to have dead people voting for properties that don't exist, people voting for properties that they used to live at in a different state that are living in another state, but still voting on behalf of those that are in that state. Like nobody's done. By the way, Republicans haven't done anything either. Yeah, there's some lawsuits in Nevada, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and those lawsuits are all surrounded about these Democrat areas not cleaning up their voter registration rolls. In the same way we saw a bunch of dead people voting in 2020. That's a real thing, by the way. You can look up the voter registration rolls yourself and do your whole forensic accounting. You can, or audit and look at it itself and go to those properties. You can go visit the person's grave site. But no, they're alive. Like, really? Because I'm looking at his grave. I'm looking at his grave right now, Tom. Yeah, the guy's been dead for a long time. Since when? 1965. Yeah. Yeah, he's been dead since the 60s. Yeah. Somehow he voted for you. All right. Well, it's the anniversary of Afghanistan. And by the way, Patriots, again, I see you in the chat. It's good to be back with you, folks. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Greatly appreciated. Secret Agent threw that in the chat for us. Well, you think, Joe Biden, I hate terrorism. No, Joe Biden, again, is giving the Taliban $87 million. He's given the Iranians, the leading sponsor of terrorism, $10 billion. And you know what's funny is I've been talking a lot about this, and I think we're actually getting traction here, and we're starting to get lefties that are commenting. You guys got to read some of the comments in the videos, really. After we're done going live, read some of the comments a little bit later. You're going to have a laugh. A laugh. Well, it's frozen money. First of all, John Kirby was acknowledged in the White House press briefing that not all of it was frozen. And the matter of fact, they actually transferred it. I think it was transferred from South Korea to Qatar so that they can actually access the money a lot easier. And Qatar could be the middleman between the United States as well as the Iranians that are getting humanitarian aid. And you gotta love the Democrats going, well, it's frozen. They can't touch it. Okay, well, okay, even if that's the case, let's pretend here. Let's go into their reality and pretend that that's true. Why give it to them in the first place? We got enough problems here. Hey, Democrats, we're $35 trillion in debt. You'll just go and lend somebody $10 billion that then they're not using and that you're freaking accumulating interest on that you're going to have to pay. So not only you have to pay $10 billion, you psychos, but you're going to have to fucking pay the interest on top of that, which is through the roof. But it's frozen. They can't touch it. They give us the fucking money back. Like, they're not tapping into it. Yeah, okay, so give us the money back so that we can build better bridges and roads and subway systems and metro links and help the freaking veterans out and get the homeless off the street and put them in some sort of help, whatever that looks like. Well, they're just not touching it. Those are the people that definitely, I don't want running the country. So speaking of terrorism, speaking of the Houthis, well, here you go, folks. Another tanker just freaking got blown up out of the Red Sea. Now, if you recall, they were going after merchant vessels over 127 times previously before Joe Biden ever did anything. After 127 times, they still continued their attacks on military installations, U.S. troops, going after our allies, going after merchant vessels all across the seas. And then Joe Biden decided after that 127th time of telling them to stop, that's bad, don't do that. Then he blew up some like empty fucking armory that was just a bunch of cement. Nothing came of it. And they just kept attacking us. And case in point, here's another one. By the way, just a couple months ago, we showed footage of another oil tanker being blown out of the freaking sea. So Iranian-backed Houthi terrorists, I'm sure glad they still have a possibility of tapping into that 10 billion. But it's frozen. Terrorists trained an oil tanker traveling in international waters in the Red Sea this week, the third major commercial shipping vessels that the Islamic terror group has sunk over the last year. Oh, just lovely. EU military operation in the Red Sea, the Indian Ocean, and the Gulf said in a statement that the attack on the vessel happened on Wednesday after the ship did not ask for protection. Well, I mean, granted, yeah, should they have asked for protection? Absolutely. But why do we live in a time where you have to ask for protection in the first place? Once the ship was attacked, it lost engine power and an operation was dispatched to the ship to rescue the crew. And well, it went down to the bottom of the ocean, folks. It's no longer with us. And you want to see a little bit of what that looks like? Don't worry, I got it for you right here. This is what that looks like. Boom.
Allahu Akbar. Al-Maut America. Al-Maut Israel. Allah al-Kalimat. Al-Nasr Israel. Labbaik ya Aqsa. Labbaik ya Aqsa. Labbaik ya Aqsa.
But it's just frozen. They can't touch it. Why are you giving them to them in the first place? Oh, my God. Don't worry, folks. We'll get to the title. This Democratic policy will be the end of us. I got you set up. I am dragging you along a little bit because we got a lot of news to cover, a lot of updates that took place over the weekend. But this is one. As a tax accountant, I was telling my wife this yesterday. They tried doing this before, which is why I want to talk about it in a little bit. If they implement this, say goodbye to your retirement, say goodbye to property, say goodbye to investing. I am not exaggerating that one bit. We'll break it down for you, folks. Hang in there with us. If you haven't already, hit that like button. If you feel like we already deserved your subscription, then we'd love a nice subscribe. Bill, it's good seeing you. We got Bill Gibbs. By the way, everybody, get a shout out to Bill. Bill's a first timer here. Couldn't be more than happy to have Bill with us. It's always nice to see a fellow patriot in here, regardless if he's Democrat. I don't care. I don't know who he is, but glad you're here, Bill. The city I live in, the homeless seem to want to be homeless. Yeah, they do. Yeah, well, they're getting drugs. Like in the state of California, Bill, we actually give alcoholics on the streets. It's not, we just talked about this about a month ago. They give alcoholics alcohol so they're not going into the hospital system and having withdrawals. So that's happening in California. We know that they're also giving them syringes in areas just out in the open to do drugs safely. So absolutely, I agree with that 100%. Now, speaking of terrorism, there's an alleged terrorist attack at a French synagogue. Isn't that just great? So cars explode, buildings set on fire. French authorities said that an Islamic terrorist attack was carried out on a synagogue in southern France on Saturday as worshippers were making their way to the building. It's interesting to see how we're just watching terrorism thrive once again. Like 9/11 was only what, like 23 years ago, 20 something years ago. It's just like, it's like, oh yeah, just another car blew up, another oil tanker just blown out of the seas. 2 cars exploded outside the synagogue. Oh, lovely. And the building's doors were lit on fire while 5 people, including a rabbi, were inside. Can't even go worship anymore, folks. Not with Democrats in office, and not with the left running various countries. So here's some of the video of what that looked like.
Heureusement, les pompiers sont arrivés. Une voiture a pris feu.
You are way less safe with Democrats in office. Remember, Democrats have had the last 12 of the 16 years, if you break it out. Oh, that's Trump's fault. It's amazing. We covered this. It's always Trump's fault. Democrats have had leadership for 12 of the last 16 years. It's Trump's fault. I mean, again, they'll just twist and pretzel themselves into some sort of logic. Well, yeah, Israel launching widespread airstrikes on Hezbollah, and rightfully so. There's a reason why they did this, and we got a bunch of clips for you here. So the IDF launched widespread strikes against Hezbollah terrorist positions in southern Lebanon during the early morning hours on Sunday. And this is key, you guys, after receiving intelligence that Hezbollah was about to launch a large-scale attack on Israel, which they did do. They did it. So I would say that Israel thwarted a massive attack that would have been against them by going in and blowing up some of their installations. So we got some clips here of the IDF attacking Hezbollah targets. Here we go. So if you're listening on audio, bunch of explosions in the background, boom, boom, boom. I think about 5 Iranians were killed. Don't quote me on that one, but I think it was like Iranian like soldiers. It wasn't like civilians, from my understanding. I could be wrong, so please don't hold me to that. Here's some more of what that looked like. Those are some big booms. As Trump would say, it's a big boom boom, like Joey's diaper. It's a big booms. That's those are some bombs. Of course, we'll get flagged from YouTube for showing that because YouTube freaking hates us. Now, again, they did this because they had intelligence that they were going to sit there and be attacked. So they went out on the offense and hit a bunch of installations and a bunch of military caches. Well, then Hezbollah launches their attack. So the Iron Dome activated in northern Israel as Hezbollah launches numerous drone attacks. So Israel engaged a large number of incoming rockets and drones on Sunday morning that were fired by Hezbollah in southern Lebanon following a preemptive series of airstrikes against Hezbollah positions that were preparing to fire on Israel. Now, here's what's the mind-blowing thing, and I understand their logic and reason, but you have a lot of conservatives, Republicans coming out, specifically like Candace Owens and others, that saying that we need to stop supplying Israel with munitions. I personally don't understand that. I get the idea of what they're talking about in Gaza, that they're just running roughshod over them and that there's a famine and drought in there, that people are dying and allegedly starving and all these other things. I say alleged because I saw a video of Gazans and they actually had more body weight than I did. Like they're eating better than me in some cases, clearly because they're overweight. But that's for another day. So they're saying, oh, well, we should stop supporting Israel. If we stop supporting Israel, say goodbye to Israel. Like, I don't get it. I really don't get it. I understand where they're coming from, but if you stop doing that, then Israel's gonna be wiped off the face of the earth. So here's a little bit of what that looked like of the Israelis being attacked.
Whoa, whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Willow.
I think it was somewhere around 300 rockets. That included some drones and stuff like that were shot down.
Willow.
Can you imagine that happening over our airspace? 300 drones and rockets being fired. Here's some more footage. Democrats will watch this and go, oh, look at, they're celebrating 4th of July too. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at the fireworks, honey. Oh, it's frozen money to the Iranians. Dude. Some people are just not with us. Wow. There you go. Heather has it right. The world needs Trump back in office. Abso-freaking-lutely. The world, and she says it correctly, the world needs Trump back in office. I mean, look what is happening to Western societies. You know, you're seeing what happens when you don't sit there and find people that want to assimilate to your creed and your values of your country, and that you just take in refugees, you just take in immigrants that don't actually adhere to your creed and to your values. And you see that not just in Western civilization in Europe, but you also see that here in the United States now. People are being stabbed in the neck. They're being freaking beheaded with machetes. It's wild what's going on over there. We got Q 1969, $10. Thank you so much. We saw country star Craig Morgan in concert Friday night. Best unapologetic America First patriot. Amen to that. So great to be part of it. Let's make this the norm, patriots. Love you, Brad. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I love you too, dude. Really, you guys keep the lights on here. I always say that. Thank you so much. We are running ads, but I had to find a loophole. So it's not really an ad. I guess it's a promotion. And that's one way where we're getting about 100 to 120 subscribers a day. And it's thanks to you guys, really. So we are actively running right now, specifically on the Dan video. If you don't know the Dan video where we ripped Dan a new one, go watch it. So that one's being ran right now. And we're gaining, again, about daily on YouTube, about 100, 120 subscribers a day. And it's thanks to you guys. And of course, I'm pitching in my own money, of course. But I just want to keep you guys up to date on that one. They won't let us run advertisements, so it's a way that I was able to get around it. Well, here, speaking of people being stabbed and beheaded and all that other stuff, multiple people stabbed by Arab-looking man in terror attack on Diversity Festival in Germany. So we have car bombs going off in France. We have people being stabbed in UK. We have actual immigrants and refugees going after citizens in the UK as well, where our man Shib lives. Well, now you got Germany, people being stabbed there. So a manhunt is underway in Germany after at least 9 people were stabbed at a diversity festival. Isn't it weird how we're told, well, if we just take away the AR-15, they're going to stop mass shootings. They won't do it. It's the most picked gun by mass shooters, and they won't commit them anymore. Yo, I'm telling you, man, some people, it's just, I mean, life is just too good. Life is too good in some areas. And what I mean by that is you're not as safe as you were before. But in terms of human history, you are very safe. And these people they don't have critical thinking skills. So now they don't have guns over there, right? Because they don't have a Second Amendment like we do. And so now, instead of using guns to attack people, guess what they're using, patriots? Yeah, they're using machetes, knives, fucking barbs. But they're 9 people stabbed. Oh, but they weren't killed. See, they weren't killed by a gun. They weren't shot. Germany's largest newspaper said that police are treating the incident as a terror attack after the suspect, who witnesses described as an Arab-looking man, began attacking people at a busy city square in Germany, where a stage was set up for the event. So there you go. There you go. People being stabbed. And by the way, it's happening on a weekly basis in Europe. I would say as far as maybe a daily basis, but I don't want to exaggerate it too much. Elf says liberals are always saying when someone points out the high crime that you need to stop watching Fox. Yeah. It's funny you bring that up because on the video that we're running the ads on right now where I ripped Dan a new one, and not Dan the Patriot, but Dan the lefty, you should read the comments in that video, you guys, really. You should read the comment. It's just wild. I go on a if you haven't seen it, because Bill's new here, which seems like we got some new Patriots in the chat. I go on a 6-minute, just from the hip rant on this guy, Dan, for coming in and treating Patriots in the chat disrespectfully, as well as me. So I think it was deserved. Kicked his teeth in. And just go read what they're saying in the comments. At the 6-minute rant, all they have is, well, show me the proof that Kamala wants to increase your taxes 70 to 90%. Why don't you fucking Google it, you nubtards? Why don't you show me the receipts? How about the fact that AOC came out with what's called the Green New Deal, and a lady named Kamala Harris was in full support of it? How about that for a receipt off the top of my head? But there's no proof that she said 70 to 90. Just connect with me. Well, some big news that took place Friday, and I just want to watch the video again because it's freaking awesome. RFK was introduced at Trump rally, and you guys, the place freaking went bonkers. When I always say that you could hear the crowd on the mics have noise reduction on them. They have a suppression. That place has to be going through the roof for you to hear it. And, I mean, you can even hear it on the mic. And Trump goes, whoa, wow, you guys love RFK and he deserves it. So here's his entrance here.
He's very low-key. He's a very low-key person.
Yeah, Dam's famous.
But he's highly respected.
Yeah.
He is a great person. I've known him for so long. For the past 16 months, Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
By the way, it just blew our sound out. That's how loud it is. And I didn't change anything. I had to turn. Man, a whole stadium of like 19,000 people going crazy for you. Woo! Yeah, that was awesome. Jason, thank you so much. Jason's also known as Tarbox. And look, that's how we know each other as Patriots in here. We always have regulars that support the show. Jason's definitely one of them, as well as everybody else with the badge. And heck, everybody just watching, hitting that like button. It's always greatly appreciated. Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, as well as RFK, Soviet Union shit going down, FAFO. Yep, love that, man. Yep, I call it the dream team. Look, we got Elon Musk. Let's start off the top, okay? Sorry, Pay, let me backtrack here. We got Donald Trump, we got JD Vance, we got RFK, we got Elon Musk, we got Vivek Ramaswamy, okay, Tucker Carlson. Can you imagine that crew coming on stage together? If that doesn't give you goosebumps, just me saying it, I don't know what will. But that was some bonker stuff. He does come up on stage and he talks a lot about health. So obviously there's really strong rumors that Elon Musk as well as RFK are going to be in Trump's cabinet. And that doesn't come from me. I believe that came from Trump himself. I don't have the clip, but I was watching a bunch of stuff over the weekend. And I would love Elon Musk to get in there. And basically, what was it called? The Governance Efficiency Council or something like that, where basically he would look under the hood and, in a nutshell, do a bunch of audits on how we're just doing a bunch of wasteful spending. And can you imagine the content that would come out from that? Then you got RFK, who I guess would be, what is it called? Secretary of Health or the Health Administration, something like that. And he was talking a lot about just the pollutants that are in our products, which is true, and stuff like that our kids need to eat healthier. And so he spoke out the rally a little bit about that and explains why he dropped out and endorsed Trump. Well, Trump wants to carry the same values as he does, which I've always said, RFK is a freaking Democrat. I've been saying this for years. If you listen to, say, like even JFK or his father's speeches way back when, it would sound almost like a conservative Republican nowadays. There used to be not that much of a difference between the two, really. But now that the Democrats have gone full insane, and I'm still questioning the fact why they're still called Democrats. Can we break that down for 1 second? Do you guys still see the Nazi Party still around? You know, the party that put people in death camps and concentration camps and led a world war. Do you still see them, that party around? You don't. But for some reason, the Democrat Party fought a civil war to keep slavery in effect. They were against civil rights. And for some reason, now they've gone so far left that they're not even recognizable. Why are they still called the Democrat Party? On top of the fact that they don't actually implement any sort of democratic ideals anymore because they nominated a person without any votes. Let me know. I'm asking you all because I don't know. I don't know why they're still called the Democrat Party. Beats the hell out of me. I don't even know if they can answer it, to be quite honest. I mean, these are people going, well, the Iranian $10 billion is frozen. They can't touch it. Sometimes there's just no hope in some people. Now, they're also saying that this is quite possibly could make the difference in the election, and maybe they're right, folks. Pollster Frank Luntz said this week that RFK's endorsement of Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump could be the difference that propels Trump to victory this fall over Democrat potential nominee Vice President Kamala Harris. And there is maybe some truth to that. Things are razor thin, you guys. I know that's crazy to say, and I almost think it's like hard to believe. Because I see Trump trains, I see caravans, I see rallies, and I see Kamala Harris just cackling on the tarmac getting off the airplane. It's so astonishing that Democrats want to argue with me over YouTube about a video where I kicked Dan's teeth in when they don't even know her policies. How could you? She hasn't come out and done an interview still. Folks, what are we, like 14 days out from the first debate, and she hasn't come out and really said any of her policies? We got some sprinklings of it, which we'll get to. Again, it has everything to do with this Democratic Party policy will be the end of us. Wait till we get to it, man. You guys are going to spit out your coffee. Wild. YouTube is throttling me from all my subscribers because I won't fry my brain in Netflix. I want real news. MT Corner, well, welcome. Yeah, they're throttling us too, brother. I feel you, man. I feel you on that one. Look, we have a lot of subscribers, and, well, we don't need to rehash that one out. It's probably worth about 1% of Trump. And that 1% could be everything if it's in all the swing states. In the end, the reason why Kennedy was strong 10, 12, even as high as 14% was because he's taken votes away from Joe Biden. Correct. And now those votes should ultimately be split. I think some people are going to go towards, obviously, Kamala Harris, and then some are going to go towards Trump, or just not vote at the top of the ticket, which would probably be the most logical choice. I would love for them to vote for Trump, but I just don't see and understand why on God's green earth you would go out of your way to vote for Kamala Harris. But somehow, again, they'll pretzel themselves into some logic and reason. It's truly, it's unbelievable. I'm right there with you, Patriots. I see y'all in the chat. I see y'all in the chat. Now, something that's unbelievable, but in a good way, is we got some comics here, folks. We have talked about them in the past. I've actually been reading my Bible as of late. I'm currently on Matthew 24, the tail end of that chapter. Are you looking to help the next generation in understanding and engaging in the Bible? The Kingstone Bible is the most complete graphic adaptation of the Bible ever done. It is the perfect product for helping young adults read, dive into, and interact with the Bible. Sometimes it's hard for children or young adults because their brain is still developing to make meaning with words. And sometimes those pictures and these comics clearly are a great help. And you want to instill Judeo-Christian values into your son or daughter because that's the same values that this country is built upon. This graphic Bible helps young adults understand the historical timelines of the Bible, learn about both well-known and lesser-known characters in Orthodox Christian teachings. Top comic artists from Kingstone Comics have created a stunning, folks, 2,000-plus page graphic novel to capture the whole Bible from Genesis to Revelation. If any of you are looking into getting into the Word of God, you've been kind of holding back for a while. Well, you know, God's trying to maybe use this advertisement as a moment to speak to you and say, hey, maybe now's the time. The entire Old Testament, New Testament is available either as a hardcover trilogy, I'm a hardcover fan, or in a 6 soft cover volumes with the Kingstone Bible. Young adults can read scripture from cover to cover and many times retain the content longer than traditional text. Find this and more exciting products at kingstonecomics.com. Again, that's kingstonecomics.com, folks. Try to get a little bit of the Word of God in. Look, we need prayer, folks. It says in scriptures, power of prayer is effective. We need more of that for our country and honestly, just the rest of the globe, to be quite frank. Now, I got to make sure I got to notice, I didn't even know these were happening. I got to notice that I need to link that into my, YouTube. Secret Agent, can you post that comment to me in our back channels on how you notified me earlier? Can you find that kingstonecomics.com and send that to me on our back channel so that I can incorporate that in YouTube? It'd be greatly appreciated. Thank you. Secret Agent, by the way, is a moderator. Secret Agent 355 is a code name for, well, the Revolutionary War. Check it out. Okay, next one here is, you know, when you start endorsing Trump, just all of a sudden people start attacking you. Well, here's RFK's Jr.'s wife, Hines, over husband's endorsement. Like, she gets attacked by these lefties. So they go after her, all because of the decision that RFK made. They're psychos, folks. Now, I don't agree with people going for Kamala Harris, but I'm not going after your family, and I'm not going after you. I think you're a little strange, but everybody's entitled to their own vote. You have that right. The decision has been made to suspend my husband RFK's presidency, and I'd like to extend a sincere, deep, heartfelt thank you to every person who has worked so tirelessly and loving on this campaign. They have accomplished feats that were said to be impossible. They have gathered over 1 million signatures, more than any candidate in history, and have achieved ballot access across the country despite the roadblocks and lawsuits that have been brought against them from the sole purpose of keeping Bobby off the ballot. Weird, because I was told that it was Republicans that were suppressing people's votes. No, yeah, you guys heard it. Oh, yeah, it's endless, right? You hear it from Jean-Pierre, you heard it from Joe Biden, you heard it from Kamala Harris, you heard it from the entire administration. It's weird because isn't it the Democrat Party that's actually doing that, right? Yeah, it's the Democrat Party that's suppressed. Look what they did to Bobby Kennedy. Look what they did to Robert F. Kennedy here. And look, it's just a fact. It's a fact they don't want to do it. How can I sit there and go, it's a fact? Democrats, obviously not the Patriots in the chat. You know I'm not talking to you on this one. You guys know this already. Democrats, you didn't vote for Kamala. Not a single person, alive or dead, because you guys love having dead people vote, alive or dead, voted for Kamala Harris. That's how it's a fact. Talk about fucking suppressing a vote. Yeah. I don't want to hear shit about Republicans suppressing votes. You actually sat there and voided 14 million votes. Talk about that suppression. And then nominated somebody with 0 votes. But it's Republicans' fault. Trump's terrible. He's gonna ruin democracy. Sorry, no. Trump is so bad. He's gonna ruin the country. He's voter suppression. He doesn't like black people. He's a racist. We can't have him anymore. It's like children, you know what I mean? They're like children. So this is Carrie Kennedy saying, I'm disgusted by my brother's obscene embrace of Donald Trump. Oh, boo-hoo.
You know, I think this is really the stakes this November couldn't be higher, which is exactly why my whole family will be fighting so hard to reelect Kamala Harris and Coach Waltz, who've been champions for the values that my family has fought for years. Donald Trump is the polar opposite. He's a threat to the most basic freedoms that are core to who we are as Americans, the right for women to control our bodies, the right to live in communities safe from gun violence, to love who you love. And I think if my dad were alive today, the real Robert Kennedy would have detested almost everything Donald Trump represents, his His lying, his selfishness, his rage, his cynicism, hatred, racism, fascist sympathies, deliberate misinformation about vaccines, criminal felony convictions. Daddy was the Attorney General of the United States. His rape of E. Jean Carroll, his contempt for the poor and suffering, for ethics, democracy, healing, his cruel sneering at human rights for suffering of people in America and around the world. And these
Is she reading from a script? You see her looking down?
The causes that was love. So
the reason why, if you look at her eyes are going this way and they're going to this way, which is reverse, right? Because you read from left to right. She's reading from a script here. I guarantee you. She didn't pull that out of her head. Oh, he raped Eugene Carroll. No, he didn't. Have you seen pictures and video of that lady that we showed in the past? She paints trees. She paints rocks and trees out in the freaking forest. That is not I know that sounds outlandish as I'm saying it, but we showed the videotape. Okay, the lady's not with us. The lady is not with us. So the Kennedy family blasted him for basically supporting Donald Trump, which I'm sure he expected. And well, clearly the family doesn't get along in the first place, so why not vote for Donald Trump and support the man? Now, you heard what she said about Donald Trump, right? He's a racist. He's a fascist. He's a xenophobe. He's all these things. Well, now the party that came out, because Joe Biden, after Donald Trump got shot in the head, goes, we need to tone it down. We need to be more respectful. We shouldn't use words like kill, and we shouldn't use words like a threat to democracy, even though Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and the rest of Democrats came out less than 24 hours later and started doing the exact same thing. Well, here now you have Cory Booker calls on the entire country to kill the MAGA strain of the Republican Party. No, I'm not kidding.
And what I know this election can do is finally kill that strain of the Republican Party in a way that I think helps the pragmatic Republicans come back.
Now, we're all intelligent enough to know that he doesn't literally mean kill Republicans. We're all intelligent enough. But, you know, when you have Democrats out there that are willing to vote for Kamala Harris and just basically shoot themselves in their own foot, they don't understand it. And so they're going to hear this and go, fuck, they're a threat to democracy. We got to kill Republicans. We got to get rid of them. They're terrible. Well, what do you think they're going to do, folks? What do you think they're going to do? All right, here's the main news that I wanted to get to today, folks. Let me make sure I get this, and then we got some highlights for you. We all, for the most part, have retirement, correct? Some of you have properties that you've invested in. Hell, maybe some of you just had investments already. Well, I just want to point this out here, folks, that Kamala Harris, slide that over, supports tax on unrealized capital gains. Now, they're saying here, I want to be fair. They're only talking about wealthy households here. So if your household is worth more than 100 million, which isn't very many people, you'd pay an annual minimum tax worth 25% of your combined income and unrealized capital gains. Folks, that is bonkers. How do you tax something that doesn't even exist yet? You haven't had actual income that's been realized to be able to tax. I was an accountant. We're going back to probably 2010 around this time, maybe 2009, where it was Elizabeth Warren, if I remember correctly. This is during the Obama administration, where the Democrats were trying to pull this one again. And we were all sitting like, how are you going to do this? One, because the money's variable, which obviously the IRS can track. A lot of things are variable. But you're going to sit there and tax somebody on money that theoretically they don't have? What? So here's Vivek Ramaswamy talking about the same for a disaster, by the way. I'm going to let him finish. But please understand, the moment that he said you need to take out a loan to pay for a tax, you are going to get into a debt snowball, and not a snowball paying it off, but you're going to be trapped because the following year, when you don't have the money again to pay for that unrealized tax, guess what? You're going to have to take out once again, another loan. I'll break it down for you, folks. We got a lot of bullet points for you. an RFK middle centrist Democrat would never do this. They would never do this. This is bonkers. But she's not going to increase taxes on the middle class. Fuck, she will. Corporate tax rate, 28%. It's currently 21. Capital gains tax, 44.6, currently 20. Unrealized gain tax, 0% going to 25%. These people go, no, it's only for those that make 400,000 or more. They're in a cult, man. They don't get it. In the same way, when the government hired 82,000 or 86,000, however many freaking 80,000 IRS agents, they're only going to go after the wealthy. What do you think they're going to do when they audit all the wealthy? There's not that many wealthy people. They're going to come after you. I'm telling you this, hand on Bible. When I used to do accounting, I still have friends that are accountants. We did taxes for people, okay? Not just corporate tax, but also individual taxes. Folks, we've never met a Democrat that walked into our offices and goes, I want to make sure I owe the max amount of money to the federal government. Fuck my withholdings, doesn't matter. I want to make sure they take all of it. They all come in saying the exact same thing. I want to make sure I don't owe any money. Then why are you voting for it, you idiot? Yeah, it's idiotic. Yes, 100% it is. If you're going to come in there and ask me, oh, well, I want to make sure that I get all the money back and, well, I don't owe any taxes. So could you do this or that? Let's see if it works out. No, if you're a Democrat, you should actually not get any taxes back. You shouldn't get your refund back. Take all of it. Keep it. Let the government keep it so they can spend it on stupid shit and like give it to illegal immigrants. And that's how it should be as well. I've also called for, check this one out. If Democrats want a policy so bad of funding illegal immigration, then put it on the 1040. Really? Well, Patriots, check this out. In the same way, if you look at, do you want to make a presidential contribution? I'm kind of going on a tangent here of $3, right? It's right on your 1040 form that you can actually check the box. Why not have a list of things that Democrats can sit there and vote for in terms of, hey, I would like $300 to go towards illegal immigration and fund it that way. That's not difficult because then it just comes out, right? Whether that comes out of your refund or it gets hit on the back end as what you're going to be taxed on and tax owed on the end of the 1040. Just carry it forward. What an idiot. Let's just remove this person. There you go. I'm all for folks. Hey, secret agent, just get rid of this person. I got rid of it. Don't worry about it. Yeah. No. There's no warning there. That person's just an idiot. Yeah. Like, if you want to vote, look, she could have done this because I'm for free speech. You could have just sat there and put, hey, Kamala Harris 2024. I would have ripped you a new one, Molly, but, we'll hide it from the channel. It's annoying. So also here we have her raising the capital gains tax that's being discussed by Fox Business.
Going from a capital gains tax of 19% to 44.6%. What will that do to markets?
So, I mean, she probably thinks it's just about the stock market, but in my opinion, it's way deeper than that. We're talking about something that's going to be a jobs killer, especially the 25% unrealized gains tax.
That's insane.
How many venture capital...
Insanity is the correct word. And like I mentioned, you guys, please understand this. Democrats don't get it. Right? Democrats are all about feelings and emotions. Oh, that's great. It's gonna be on the wealthy. The wealthy are the ones that employ you. The wealthy are the ones that hire you and create jobs. Well, what are you gonna do when that incentive is gone? And you have no job because you have no business because you fucking tax the shit out of them.
Backed businesses are out there that are worth $100 million that don't generate $1 of profit, that are gonna have to now stroke a $25 million check and shut their doors.
Because they don't have the money.
Unbelievable.
I'm doing my best to keep it together. I'm telling you, you guys, you will cripple an economy. You will cripple a country by doing this. I mean this in all literal senses, not something to be fucking around with. I'm cussing right now. This is some psycho shit, man. This is some crazy stuff. And for Democrats going, well, hey, why don't you prove it? Fine, let's go through it. So I built some time. I took some time to make some bullet points for you on this one, which is something you guys know I rarely do. It's that important. First of all, it creates market volatility and unintended selling pressure because you're going to have people that are going to force liquidation to pay off their freaking tax. It increases volatility because you need to frequently assess and tax unrealized gains and could cause more short-term trading based on that capital gains, because in some cases you won't be hit with the capital gains depending on what the law and the tax code is on it. So it creates volatility within the market because there's a lot more change going on within the market. Impact on investment and innovations is another example. You reduce the incentive to invest altogether. Taxing unrealized gains could discourage a long-term investment in the stocks, real estate, and other assets. Look, I understand it's for $100 million, but what I'm getting at is if they sit there and implement something like this, it's only for some time that they go after the 100 million people. Once they're dealt with, guess who they're going to come after? You and I. The government never does that. We're like, hey, we're just going to go after the wealthy. In history, they've always gone for the wealthy, and then they go for the middle class. And when the middle class is carved out, then they're going to go after lower income. They are freaking sitting there like vultures or mosquitoes and just sucking the lifeblood out of everybody. Stifling innovation, startups and tech companies, which would often rely on the promise of future capital gains to attract investment. Well, when that's all gone, how would you sit there and have innovation? Administration complexity. I'm keeping this very simple, by the way. And compliance costs. You have valuation changes. You have an increased tax burden. Hell, what about our impact for retirement savings and the middle class? Well, many retirement savings are 401ks, 403bs, IRAs. Grow primarily through the appreciation of what? An investment. Oh, an investment, exactly. Taxing unrealized gains could erode these savings, making it harder for individuals to build a secure retirement. Oh, well, just lovely. Middle class impact with this policy might be intended to target the wealthy. It could also affect middle class investors who have seen significant appreciation in assets like homes or stocks over time. What about economic distortions? We might as well keep going in wealth inequality. Well, if you have distorted investment behavior, taxing unrealized gains could lead to distortions in investment behavior, such as favoring short-term over long-term investments. Increased wealth inequality. The policy could exacerbate wealth inequality. Wealthy individuals with access to sophisticated tax planning strategies might be able to minimize their tax burden. What about the capital flight, and global competitiveness? Capital flight, high net worth individuals and businesses might relocate their wealth or operations to other countries. Get the hell out of Dodge. If you're not going to have a business here, hey, I'll sell this business. I'll get hit with the 25% capital gains tax, not just on my income, but also on my gains. I'll get the hell out of Dodge. I'll go to another country, take that money, invest my money into that business in the other country, and just not be an American anymore. And I'll have that innovation taking place in China or Japan or wherever else. And, you're not going to make as much money maybe, but you can sit there and get around that. I'm telling you, folks, I would say this is up there in one of the most insane policies I've ever heard of. I'm stuttering because I actually don't know of a more insane policy in terms of going against my fiscal conservative values than this one. This is wild. By the way, those accountants that I would sit around at work with are not all conservative Republicans. Even they are like, what the hell are you doing? Because they all know at some point, we're going to get a call from our clients going, hey, is this going through? Like, how am I going to manage this? And you got to look at them and you're like, oh, shit, well, liquidate. You got the cash flow coming in? Because all that's going to do, right, if you're going to sit there and get hit with a tax, and you know that tax is going to be 25% of your capital gains, well, then you're going to sit there and pass that tax on to who? The consumer. And that consumer is going to sit there and are already dealing with a 20% increase across the board in terms of prices of goods and services. So now you just inflated the economy, and you potentially could just run into a big disaster of people not being able to afford the debt and pay that off on top of the taxes. So they have to close shop. And like I mentioned, please understand, this is all to create revenue for the government. Well, when you don't have to be able to siphon from the teat of the businesses, over the $100 million, where the fuck they came up with that number, then where else are you going to get the money? You already have it in law. Oh, well, shit, if we can't get the 100 million, let's lower the bar a little bit. A lot of Americans aren't making 50 million. Let's make it 50 million. So once you carve that out, oh, well, we can't get money from them anymore. Let's just make it 25 million. Let's make it 400,000. Let's make it 100,000. Oh, well, we saw that we could do capital gains tax on corporations and individuals through that on 25%. Well, let's just make sure that we do 5% on the middle class. It's only 5%, guys. Let's do 5% on those that are making $50,000 to $100,000. If you think that they're not going to come after you, you are so far gone, it is head spinning. It may not happen in our lifetime, but the second that you sit there and give them that inch, they're going to take a mile on it. Well, how do we know? Well, they've been doing it with illegal immigration. Here you go. Ohio finds that 597 non-citizens who voted or registered in recent elections, a fraction of its electorate. Oh, goody. And it's not just that. You have them. Where's the home buyer one? Look at this. First-time home buyers in Oregon get a $30,000 grant, but American citizens aren't eligible. But we were told, oh, no, they're not going to get stuff like that when they come in illegally. We're not funding it. No, they don't get certain loans. They don't get money just handed to them. They're not getting $9,000 of rental assistance. They're not sitting there getting free hotel rooms and kicking out veterans that served in Afghanistan and Iraq and are being replaced by Afghanistan and Iraqis in terms of where they're coming from as refugees or immigration. No, we were told all that stuff's not going to happen. Everything they said wasn't going to happen just all of a sudden starts happening, even though we told them it was going to what? Happen. And because I'm passionate about this, because I'm speaking a little bit louder, because I actually have confidence in my voice and actually have confidence in what the hell I'm talking about, they go, why are you so triggered, man? Why are you so triggered? Nobody's triggered here. We're just all wondering what the hell's wrong with you in terms of you sitting there voting for this knucklehead shit, and that you can't sit there and make the linear connection to the fact that when you walk into that accountant's office and go, I don't want to owe more taxes. Why are they taxing me? Why am I being audited? Because your ass voted for it, you idiot. And there's no connection. Please, it's a remarkable thing to see, you guys. I have friends that I've sat there and helped out, and they are Democrats. And I'm telling you, hand on the Bible, they've sat there and gone, I don't want to sit there and owe more money. How can I make sure I don't owe more money? Maybe don't vote for it to begin with. How about that? Maybe stop putting in Democrats that are having this stuff take place. That would be kind of nice, wouldn't it? Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Some things I want to go over here. I want to see if I can actually get to the video itself. You guys, look at these real quick. So I want to go through. So I do see your guys' comments. That's not going to work. Let's do this. There we go. I do see your guys' comments, and look at this. Look at some of these. Where is it? This is on the Dan video. So if you haven't seen this video of Dan, you got to check that one out, folks. Really, you got to check it out. Look, we have 3K views, but this is the one I'm running advertisements on. It only had like 100 views when we have 64,000 subscribers. So that's how we have to get the word out there and get conservative thought. Look, I love to see all the comments made by people who see the truth here. Vote blue. Nobody sees the truth other than Republicans. Other Republicans. I want to find the one that was a 70% tax. You guys got to read these comments. It's insane. There's a person here. Here you go. I hope you have some source for that really 75% tax citations needed. And by the way, Chris Bean, nobody said 75%. I said between 70 to 90% tax because we don't know exactly what she wants to do in terms of that tax. And he went as far to say it twice because he doesn't know how YouTube works. It's the Green New Deal. That's what it's called. Hey, okay, folks, just to be aware, this is the good Dan, I believe. Dan Laughlin. So this is the other patriot, okay? So nobody give Dan crap. This is the good Dan. All right? He made sure to email me like, yo, I'm the good one. So there's multiple Dans here. I hope you have some source for that really 75% tax. Again, just look at the Green New Deal. Look at the cost of what wants to be implemented on it. And the fact that Kamala Harris sat there and supported it. Me giving a 70% interval is me being gracious. That's me being nice, dude. That's why I said upwards of 90. You think money, it's funny because we always tell kids, oh, you think money grows on trees. Democrats know that it doesn't grow on trees. They know that it grows from investments and working hard, and they want to take it from all of you. And give it to who? Illegal immigrants. They want to give it to Ukraine. They want to give it to all these other countries, like the Iranians, and then sit there and goes, oh, it's frozen. They can't touch it. Out of the 6-minute rant, you guys, that I did in this video here, 6 minutes, you see it right there in the time code. The two issues they had was me saying the 70 to 90% tax and then the Iranians' money. That was it. For those that watched it, out of the long list, work out when Kamala Harris wants to impose 70 to 90% of taxes upon American citizens. Hey, Dan, tell us exactly how it's helpful that the Iranians are sitting there receiving all this funding from the Biden-Harris administration, but yet they're supporting the Houthis blowing our merchant vessels out of the sea. Hey, it's funny that we talked about that in this video, and then we actually covered a new merchant vessel being exploded out of the seas. Isn't it astonishing? So it just shows they actually didn't watch the whole video, because there was a litany of issues that I talked about here for 6 straight minutes, just rattling them off. But it's the taxes and it's the Iranians' frozen money. That's all they got, folks. That's all they got, as you see, and that's all they got in the chat, because they could just only spam the chat with Kamala 2024. Sure, cripple the country, idiot. No, it's just great. That alone, just you shouldn't be voting for Kamala, let me tell you, folks. Well, thank you so much for always supporting the show, folks. Shout out to Bill Gibbs, new patron in the chat. Bill, hey, we hope that you could join us every single morning, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Empty Corner, same, man. Join us. We would love to have you guys. Nonetheless, even if you're a Democrat, I don't know what you guys are, it doesn't matter to us. Just come in here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you feel like we're worth it, folks. And there you have it. Do more research on that capital gains and see how it may affect you or your family, either now or in the future. It would be greatly appreciated, folks. We got one more thing for y'all before we split here as a community. And that, they won't, let's see if it'll work. Hold on. Rip. Come on. There we go. This is the one we love, folks. 1775 coffee, baby. If you're wondering what we're drinking, do you enjoy free speech that Rumble is protecting and fighting us? This is our main platform, folks. Our show on Rumble is only possible thanks to our viewers supporting Rumble's platform by purchasing Rumble's products. Most of you drink coffee every single day, and that's why you have to try Rumble 1775 coffee. Folks, you guys are buying this stuff up, which is great. You're supporting them. It's a good deal. And we're a morning show. What's better than watching a Patriot, hanging out with fellow Patriots, and having a nice cup of brew in the morning? It's actually the best coffee I've ever tried, and it's the same price as the coffee you buy now, but it's freaking way better. I get the dark roast, by the way. Again, some of you are buying up the medium roast primarily. We know Jerry is buying up the medium roast. He sent us a picture over there via Gmail, my email. But if you guys buy this stuff, post me and tag me on Twitter. Rumble 7075 coffee is free from chemicals, yet rich in flavor. This is because their beans are sourced from high-altitude farms in Bolivia, hand-picked, roasted weekly at their facility in Miami, and delivered fresh to your doorstep. And as believers in freedom, folks, buying from Rumble helps fight back against woke corporations like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. I call it $5. Hell, now in this case, it's $6, literally. Join the coffee revolution and brew rebellion with Rumble 1775 coffee. Go to 1775coffee.com. Use promo code STUDIO, folks. Promo code STUDIO. Make sure I copy that. And get a free month supply of their cognitive boosting supplement, Limitless, when you buy 2 bags of their coffee. Think about that. It's a crazy deal, folks. You get that 2 bags right there at 1775coffee.com. Try it, really. I mean, we got to support brands, man. We're seeing what freaking woke companies, even like YouTube's doing here. Wild stuff, folks. So with that being said, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you always so much for the kindness. Thank you for everybody that donated. Jason, and who was we got Jason over here, and we also have, I want to make sure I give everybody a shout out, and Q1969. Thank you so much for dropping your hard-earned money in here. Greatly appreciate it, folks. We'll see you next time here on the Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.